Good morning everyone or kung anong oras mo man pinapanood ang video na to. I would like to introduce myself first before we start. I am Joaquin Timones and I will be your professor sa Introduction to Linguistics. So, without further ado, let's start. According to Oxford Languages, linguistics is defined as the scientific study of language, okay? Emphasis on the word scientific, the scientific study of language and its structure, including the study of morphology, syntax, phonetics, and semantics. So, later on, with our series, papaliwanag ko tong mga branches na to. But, in the meantime, what I want you to understand, when we say linguistics, this is the scientific study of language and its structure. Kahit yun lang tandaan nyo about linguistics. The scientific study of language and structure. Now, basahin natin yung buong definition. Specific branches of linguistics include sociolinguistics, dialectology, psycholinguistics, computational linguistics, historical comparative linguistics, and applied linguistics. Now, hindi ko may papangako matuturo ko sa inyo to lahat, but to the best of my abilities, gagawin natin. Okay? Ang main priority natin is itong apat na branches. Because as English majors, ito talaga yung magiging, let's just say, this is going to be your sword, your spear, your bow and arrow in order to fight the challenge of linguistics. Ito yung magiging main focus natin. But habang tumatagal kasi, let's say third year English ka na or fourth year or kahit pag umabot ka na sa board exam, eventually you will encounter social linguistics, dialectology, and psycholinguistics. Although hindi siya sobrang in-depth tinuturo sa college, lumalabas siya sa board exam. That's why, to the best of my abilities, ituturo ko to sa'yo lahat. But in the meantime, since we're just starting, malawak ang definition ng linguistics. Okay? But the best definition, the most simple, short, and comprehensive definition is yung sabi nga ng Oxford Languages, which is the scientific study of language and its structure. Now, what makes you different from a linguist as an English major? So, sa mga nanonood ng video na to, this video is made for English majors na may linguistics ngayon. What I mean by that is Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. So para to sa mga teachers tulad ko, I made this series para mas maging comprehensive yung introduction to linguistics sa kanila. So if you're a linguist and you're watching this, then sure, feel free na panoorin to. But ngayon pa lang sinasabi ko na sa'yo, this is more attuned to being an English major. Okay? So, let's differentiate them muna. First off, a linguist. A linguist examines how language works structurally and cognitively, covering areas like covering areas like grammar systems, syntax, sounds, phonology, meaning, semantics, and language development, often using analytical, sometimes empirical methods. And if I'll be frank with you, technically, ganyan din ginagawa ng English major sa larangan ng linguistics. But there's a difference. As an English major, our topics are more on reading, writing, and analytical texts such as novels, poetry, and essays. And then, of course, mas mahalaga dito yung interpretation, rhetoric, and communication skills. As English majors, no, kasi gusto natin turuan yung mga learners natin how to use English. But English is not just a language. We have to remember, as English majors, we are teaching the subject of English. Therefore, kasama dito yung reading, writing, and of course, yung novels, poetry, essays, yan. So, itong novel, poetry, and essays, nasa literary side na to ng English. Yes, gumagamit to ng language, but ibang-iba na siya sa linguistics. However, medyo nakakalito din because meron tayong tinatawag na stylistics. So, stylistics, this is the closest. Yan, stylistics. This is another branch of linguistics na more catered towards kung paano kinokonekto with literature. But we're not gonna discuss this yet. Okay? So, huwag niyo muna pansinin yan. I-differentiate natin yung main scope ng linguist and English major. Bakit ba may introduction to linguistics ang English major? Well, the very fact kasi na you're going to teach a language, which is what? English, means na you have to understand English to a scientific level. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na English major ka because, marunong ka mag-English. Yan yung typical na reason kung bakit tayo nagtitake ng ng program na to eh. Sabihin na lang natin, ayoko naman kasi maging math major, ayoko maging science major kasi hindi ako magaling sa math. Ayoko na science. Mag-English major na lang ako kasi magaling naman ako mag-English. I'm fluent in English. Well, that's not the case. In order for you to understand, in order for you to teach the English language, you must understand it to a scientific level. Hindi na to yung part na grammar lang inaaral mo. Hindi na to yung part na alam mo yung noun, alam mo yung verb. No, no. Kaya mo tinok yung Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English, para maging well-versed ka when it comes to the language itself. And of course, because of that, kailangan pag-aralan natin yung linguistics. Pero, ang linguistics kasi, malawak yan. In general, mga lingwahe yung inaaral ng linguist. Hindi siya English lang. So for example, if you're a linguist, you're also going to study Spanish. How is Spanish different from English? What is the historical context of Spanish? How it came to be, bakit ganito yung pronunciation, and kung pare-pares tayo ng lalamunan, bakit magkakaiba tayo ng ways of pronouncing things? Yan ang mga dinidiscuss sa linguistics. Whereas in English, ang main focus lang ng linguistics part ng English major is of course anything that is relevant to our language, which is English. Okay? Pero in my opinion class, the best way para mas maintindihan mo yung introduction to linguistics bilang isang English major is if we're going to compare English with other languages. So don't worry. I'll make it as comprehensive as possible naman. So, lahat ng English major sa Pinas, I'm sure na-encounter na tong image na to. This is these are the different branches of linguistics. Yung OG, yung mga sikat na branches talaga. So we have phonetics. So phonetics is more on speech sounds. So what do we mean by that? I-differentiate muna natin yung difference ng voice, okay, voice, and yung difference ng speech. Pag sinabi nating voice, this is anything na nanggagaling sa lalamunan mo. This is anything that your voice box produce. It could be etong sinasabi ko ngayon, or it could also be it could also be like that. That's the voice. Pero ano naman yung speech? What are speech sounds? Well, if you're using the voice kasi and wala kang speech, ganito yung tunog niyan. Parang ganun. Nagigets mo? But the moment na you put your lips sa upper teeth mo, you will pronounce the T sound, letter T. You know, you will pronounce the letter T sound. You will also pronounce the letter D sound. Diba? Pag naman hindi mo masyadong sinarado yung labi mo and may air na lumalabas, you will pronounce the S sound. In short dito, pag sinabi nating speech, this is what happens when you combine your articulators. Articulators, ito yung mga ginagamit ng lalamunan mo and ng bunganga mo to produce a specific sound na maiintindihan ng certain na language. So, yan yung mga pinag-uusapan sa phonetics. Huwag mo muna masyadong i-overthink yan, okay? Introduction pa lang to. But in short, pag sinabi natin phonetics, ang dinidiscuss dito is kung paano nakaka-produce ng speech ang human voice. Ang lalamunan natin, combination ng lalamunan natin, yung labi natin, ngipin natin, how is it going to be useful to produce specific sounds in a language. Whereas in phonology naman, makita mo, phonology is about phonemes. So malalim na word na naman ng phoneme, huwag niyo masyadong isipin yan. But kung ang phonetics, ang dinidiscuss dito is kung paano makaproduce ng sound, phonology naman is yung mismong sound ng isang language. For example, what makes American English different from British English? 'Di ba? The Americans, they kind of talk like this. It's very, it's very complete. Whereas the English are very soft. Well, di ba parang may difference ng sound, di ba? So ganyan ang mga dinidiscuss sa phonology. Isa-isay natin yan, huwag kayong magalala. Morphology naman. Morphology, dito nabubuo yung mga words. Saan galing yung mga words, paano nabuo yung words. And then syntax, kung meron tayong words, meron naman tayong phrases and sentences. So, according sa mga veterano na sa English, I disagree with them, to be honest. Sabi nila, syntax daw is the mathematics. Syntax daw is the mathematics of the English majors. Kasi daw mahirap. Para sa akin, no, mahirap siya kung hindi mo pa na-master yung basic grammar. Kung hindi mo pa na-master yung parts of speech. Yon, yung nouns, yung verbs, yung adjectives, adverbs. Kung hindi mo pa ma-differentiate yung mga yon, and kung hindi ka pa marunong mag-identify ng phrase and ng clause and ng sentence, mahirap talaga ang syntax. But, habang tumatagal, I will teach you this as well. It's gonna be fun. And of course, we also have semantics. Semantics naman, ito yung meaning. Meaning, basta tandaan nyo, semantics is about meaning. And then we have pragmatics. Pragmatics naman is about context. So once again, class, this is just an introduction about the different branches of linguistics. Huwag mo masyadong i-overthink kasi isa-isay natin yan. Okay? In the meantime, the most important thing to discuss about linguistics, kung sisimulan na natin yung discussion of linguistics, of course, we have to define what is a language. We already know what linguistics is. But what exactly is a language? Balik tayo, ano ba yung sinabi kanina? Yan, no? Linguistics is the scientific study of language. But what exactly is a language? Sir, parang ang dali naman, no? Ito yung ginagamit natin para magsalita, ganun-ganun. Well, yan yung basic definition of a language. However, when we say language, this is the principal method of human communication, consisting of words used in a structured and conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, or gesture. So, for the longest time, no, pag sinasabi nating language, akala natin ito lang yung sinasabi natin. But paano ba kasi natin may explain in detail ano ibig sabihin natin by language? Pag nakasulat ba, language na? Or kailangan bang sabihin, language na? Eh paano kung gestures lang, language na ba yun? Well, ang tatandaan nyo class, when we say language, this is the principal method of human communication. And also, if I would also add, it is a system, yan, language is a system of communication. What comes to your mind, class, when you hear the word system? Sorry ang pangit ng writing ko Wala kasi akong mouse. Ginagamit ko lang yung, ano mo yung sa laptop, yung dinadaliri lang. Yon. So anyway, what comes to your mind when you hear the word system? 'Di ba? Pag system, it means it functions as a whole. Ibig sabihin, kung may mali sa isa, mamamali na yung lahat. So, language is a system of communication. Kaya nga mahalaga ang grammar sa language, di ba? It is the rule that governs language. Kaya kung mali-mali ka ng grammar, hindi ka maintindihan ng kausap mo or baka magkaroon kayo ng misinterpretation. Di ba? And grammar doesn't only exist in writing. Obviously, it also exists in speaking. But it also exists in gestures. Yes, well, kung familiar kayo sa American Sign Language or kahit Filipino Sign Language, may specific grammar pa rin silang sinusundan kahit gesture lang. Okay? So, ayan. Ito yung pinaka-ibig sabihin ng language. Now, let's discuss naman English. English is also a language. Yan na, no? Dapat general knowledge na to sa'yo since you're taking Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. Obviously, English is our language. Ito yung gagamitin natin. But what exactly is English? And why is it a language? English is a West Germanic language. West Germanic language. English, tapos bigla mo sabihin Germanic language siya and layo niya sa German. Oh, well, English is a West Germanic language of the Indo-European language family. O, ano naman to? Ano naman yung Indo-European family? That is closely related to the Frisian, German, and Dutch in Belgium called Flemish languages. English originated in England and is the dominant language of the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and various island nations in the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. Now, Anton, no, nag-take ka na ngayon ng degree mo, Bachelor of Secondary Education, and tanong lang kita, how will you define English? Karamihan sa mga English majors na kakilala ko and mga nakikita ko, they cannot properly explain what English is. Ang sasabihin lang nila, English, ano, language to. And meron pa, no, one of my concerns, may mga narinig na akong English majors na nagsabi na ang English ay galing sa Amerika. Well, tama siya kung ganito mo siya isipin. We learned English from the Americans. But to say that English came from America, it's false information. Okay? Because English came from, saan nga ulit? English originated from England. And where can you find England? You can find England not in the United States, but in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Ito yung flag nila, the Union Jack, the national flag of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Dito galing ang English, specifically saan? Sa England. Okay? So, i-discuss ko ngayon kung paano nabuo yung English and bakit siya tinatawag na Germanic language, what is Indo-European language family, and yun nga, Germanic language, how is English related to German? Well, that's going to be our topic for today muna. That's our first lesson. In order for you to understand linguistics to a molecular level in the perspective of English, you must understand saan galing ang English. And that is our lesson. So, simulan muna natin sa paano ba nagsimula ang language. How did language begin? May dalawang perspective yan. Tingnan muna natin yung Bible. Ngayon, alam ko naman hindi kayo nagbabasa ng Biblia. Joke. That's obviously a joke. But let's just say na ganito yan. In the Bible, we have what we call the Tower of Babel or Torre ni Babel, something like that. And may kita mo to sa Genesis 11, verse 1 to 9. So, ang kwento nito basically is, hindi sinasabi ng Bible kung saan galing ang pinaka-pinakaunang language. In this story, meron ng isang language ang lahat ng builders. Okay? So, ito kasi, kwento ko. So, may mga builders. Itong mga builders na to, they already have one language. It wasn't specified in the Bible kung anong specific language yung ginamit nila. But let's just say na they communicate with just one language. And gusto nilang gumawa ng tore na maabot yung langit. Okay? They want to build a tower that will reach the heaven. Kasi gusto nga nila maabot or masurpass pa si God. So, ano ginawa ni God? Ang ginawa ni God is lahat ng mga builders sa loob ng tore, di ba isa nga lang yung language nila? Ang ginawa ni God is binago niya yung mga languages ng mga tao dun sa loob. So for example, example lang, halimbawa para magkaintindihan tayo. English yung language ko ngayon, tapos nagbi-build tayo. Tapos bigla mo kong kakausapin in Tagalog, hindi na kita maintindihan. Okay, tapos yung isa ko naman kaibigan, bigla akong kinausap in French. Yung isa ko naman kaibigan, bigla akong kinausap in Japanese. Oh, so, that's basically what happened in the Tower of Babel. Of course, ang ginagamit kong languages sa inyo para makarelate kayo is yung mga modern languages. But let's just say na yung mga languages sa Tower of Babel is yung mga ancient languages. And because of that, nagkagulo-gulo sila sa tore and, it caused chaos. But, yan yung pinaka-definition or sorry, yan yung pinaka-theory kung paano daw kumalat yung mga languages according to the Bible. Well, now you know. Now, let's move to the second way. Ito naman yung linguistic na paraan kung paano daw kumalat yung language. There is no known first language. Well, actually meron, pero hindi pa natin alam. 'Di ba? Sabi dito kanina sa Tower of Babel, nung ginagawa na nila yung tore, meron na silang isang lingwahe, but it wasn't specified kung ano yun. Now, in the theory of linguistics, meron ng language dati. Isa lang, kaya doon nagsimula lahat. pero hindi pa natin directly ma-identify. Hindi pa natin directly ma-identify. Okay? Kasi nga, ang hirap nga naman ano nun, ang hirap nga naman i-fact check nun. So, until now, it's a mystery. However, ang proposal ng mga linguist dito, lahat daw ng modern languages ay matitrace back natin sa Proto-Indo-European. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pa natin ma-identify kung ano yung pinaka-pinaka-pinakaunang language sa mundo. Pero sure tayo na lahat ng languages natin ngayon galing sa pinakaunang language na yun. But since hindi natin ma-identify kung ano yung unang language na yun, linguists propose that galing ito sa Proto-Indo-European, which is the reconstructed ancestor of many languages like English, Spanish, and Hindi. And it is believed to have been spoken around 4,000 to 2,500 BCE. So let's discuss more about that. How did English begin naman? Yan. So, guess nyo na ngayon na ang mga languages natin ay galing sa Proto-Indo-European. Okay? So, modern languages natin galing dito. Pero bago yan maging English, ang layo muna ng diniscuss na yan. Ang layo muna ng pinagdaanan yan bago maging English. So, simulan muna natin, how did English begin? Ito yung Proto-Indo-European, di ba? Sabi nga nila, dito galing lahat ng mga languages sa mundo. Now, pwede mong hatiin yung Proto-Indo-European. Pwede kang pumunta sa Indo-Iranian, Indo-Hellenic, which will lead you to Greek language. We have Italic, which will lead you to Latin. And we also have Slavic, which will lead you to Russian, and Germanic. Okay? So, ito yan. Lahat ng languages natin ay nanggaling sa Proto-Indo-European. Okay? Punta tayo sa Germanic. Eventually, yung mga tao sa Europe, na-develop naman nila yung Germanic mula sa Proto-Indo-European. And then, yung Germanic, nagkaroon ng North Germanic and nagkaroon ng West Germanic. Etong West Germanic, makakabuo siya na tinatawag nating Anglo-Frisian in the future. By the way, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of years Baka iniisip nyo mga 50 years lang yung agwat nito. And then of course, we have Old English, we have Middle English, and then finally, Modern English. So, I know it doesn't make sense ngayon, but what I want you to understand is that hindi pa natin alam kung saan galing lahat ng languages. Okay? Ang alam lang natin, galing ito, hindi naman alam no, ang theory lang natin is that galing ito sa Proto-Indo-European, which is a family of languages na pinaka-pinakaunang dinidiscuss nila dati. Pero yung pinaka-pinakaunang lingwahe, well, it's still a mystery na we're yet to discover. Once again, galing sa Proto-Indo-European. Okay? Now, I want to introduce the Celtic tribes of Europe. The Celtic tribes of Europe. So, Europe. Yan, napanood mo na ba yung Napanood niyo na ba yung Brave? Ito, yung Brave. Napanood niyo na ba yung Brave sa Disney Channel? Kung napanood mo na, that's the closest description as to what the Celtics look like. So, bago pa magkaroon ng Germans, bago pa magkaroon ng French, ng Spanish, ng English people in Europe, nauna muna yung mga Celtic tribes. So, the Celtic tribes, sila tong mga to, and they're actually warriors as well. They have their own beliefs. Mga pagan sila. So, when I say pagan, may mga sarili silang mga Diyos na pinaniniwalaan. So, sila yung mga unang tao na nakatira sa Europe. So, yan. This is what Europe looks like. Okay? As you can see, this is Germany, this is France, and ito yung pinaka-importante I want to highlight. This is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So, this is UK. So, ang pinakamahabang version ng pangalan niya is United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So, for the sake of making our topic simpler, let's just refer to it as UK. So, ayan. Bago pa magkaroon ng mga tao dito, ang nauna ay ang mga Celtic tribes. And obviously, ang language nila is going to be Celtic. So zoom in natin. Zoom in natin. Etong island na to, itong entire island na to, yan, this will be known as Britain. Ooh, I have to invest in a mouse. Okay. Alam niyo naman siguro spelling ng Britain, no? Sorry na. So, this island is Britain. So, paano naman po to? Paano to? Well, etong part na to, malaki-laki pa to eh. Ayan, malaki-laki pa yan. Ito, may kita mo naman, di ba? Ito siya. May kita niyo siya. So, this is Ireland. Ireland yan. O, alam niyo na yung spelling ng Ireland, di ba? So, basically, hindi kasama yung entirety of Ireland sa United Kingdom. Kasi nga, kung babasahin mo yung United Kingdom, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So basically, Northern Ireland lang yung part ng bansang UK. Pero itong malaking island na to, this is divided into England, into Wales, and Scotland. Pero ang tatandaan mo, if you combine those three, we have Wales, England, and Scotland, that is what we call Britain. So balik tayo ulit sa topic. Ang mga unang nakatira sa Europe ay mga Celtic tribes. So basically, ang mga nakatira sa UK dati ay mga Celtics. Gets? The Celts were among the earliest known inhabitants of Britain, but they were not the very first humans there. Oh, sabi ko na, kakasabi mo lang, Sir Joaquin, sila yung mga unang tao dun. Well, hindi sila yung mga sinaunang tao dun. Pero according sa ating mga findings, Celtics talaga yung closest na makikita natin. But before that, may mga iba ng mga tao dito sa Britain. Siguro yung mga Homo erectus, yung mga Homo habilis, yung mga ganun. But kung magiging fair na lang tayo sa technicalities, let's just say na the Celts were among the earliest known inhabitants of Britain. Now, ano ba yung language ng mga Celts? Ano yung language ng mga Celts? Obviously, ang language ng mga Celts ay Celts or Celtic. Ang language ng mga Celts ay Celtic. Balik tayo ulit sa diagram kanina. Okay. Hold on. Buray natin. Yan. Balik tayo sa diagram kanina. Alright. So, Proto-Indo-European, and then, mula sa Proto-Indo-European, may mga grupo ng tao, let's say yung mga Celtics, na pumunta nga sa Europe, and kinalat nila yung tinatawag nating Celtic language. So, galing yung Celtic language sa Proto-Indo-European. And in the future, itong Celtic language na to, it will create what we call Manx, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh. Which is yan nga yung sinasabi ko kanina sa Britain. Ito yung Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. So, yan yung sinaunang language na makikita mo sa United Kingdom. Okay? Now, Proto-Indo-European, and then we have Proto-Celtic, Proto-Celtic, and then we're going to have what we call Common Brittonic. So when we say Common Brittonic, kaya bakit siya tinatawag na Brittonic? Kasi nga, this island is Britain, and all of them speaks Common Brittonic, which is galing sa Proto-Celtic. Okay, I hope everything is clear so far. Common Brittonic is also known as Proto-Brittonic. Okay, so wala pang English dati. In fact, if you're going to check yung language ng Celtics compared sa English, it's very, very different. So, it's unfair for us to say na Celtic is the very first English. This is completely incorrect. Okay? We cannot say na this is the very first English. But it's the very first language na kumalat sa Britain. Okay? Now, ginagamit pa rin ba yung mga Celtic words? Yes, we still use Celtic words until today. In fact, ang pinaka-famous na example dyan is London. You know, the city of London. Galing siya sa word na London John. By the way, I'm sorry, no? I'm sure mali ako ng pronunciation. But this is a Celtic word. Galing siya sa word na London John. Celtic words we still use today ay makita mo sa mga lugar in the United Kingdom. For example, we have Inverness, Glasgow, Aberdeen, Dover, York, Kent. Yan. Makita mo yung mga Celtic words kadalasan sa mga lugar in UK. However, kung gusto mo pa rin tignan kung saan pa ginagamit ang Celtic words, then mas mas ginagamit siya sa Scottish. Okay, alam na naman yung spelling ng Scottish. Ginagamit din siya sa Wales, okay, which is yung sa Wales, and ginagamit din siya sa Irish. So, mas sikat yung Celtic words sa mga sinabi kong mga lugar na yan. Okay, sa Scotland, sa Wales, saka sa Ireland. Pero, may mga ginagamit pa rin tayong Celtic words na ginagamit natin sa English. For example nga, itong mga lugar na to. Now, na naiintindihan nyo na yung UK, bago siya maging UK, mga Celtic people muna nakatira dito. But then in the future, dadating yung mga Romano. The Roman invasion of Britain. So, who who were the Romans? Ito yung mga Romans, yung mga Romano. Now, if you're a fan of history, tulad ko, Rome is one of the most, in fact, the most influential, sorry ang ingay, may dumadaan na ambulansya. Again. Rome, in my opinion, is the most influential empire in world history. And it's gonna make sense pa mamaya. So, saan ba yung Rome? Saan galing yung Rome? Galing ang Rome sa bansang, if you're familiar with this, galing ang Rome sa bansang Italy. Ito yung mga carbonara, pizza, yan. This is Rome. So, ito yung UK, di ba? Ito yung UK. Ito naman yung Italy. So, ang layo. Mula Italy, dumaan ng France, papunta ng UK. Ganyan kalayo yung inabot ng Rome para sakupin yung Britain. But, ano ba masasabi natin sa mga Romans? Bakit ko nasabi na Rome is the most influential empire in world history? Well, first of all, ang dami nating natutunan sa mga Romano. Politics, yes, madami tayong natutunan sa politics when it comes to the Romans. Language natin, di ba? Roman statute, yung mga batas natin, it's yung justice system natin, it's very much influenced by Rome. Ang dami natin natutunan sa mga Romans. And in terms sa military, the Roman military is perhaps the most effective or the most elite fighting force in the world. Bakit? Because yung mga sundalo dati, no, mga barbarian sila, laban lang ng laban, wala silang formal training. But the Romans, they have formal training. Lumalaban sila in formation. Meron silang ranking. So therefore, pagdating sa labanan, hindi sila magulo. They are very organized. Kaya nung sinakop ng Rome yung Britain, I'm not saying na madali, okay? It was brutal and deadly, but eventually, talagang matatalo yung Britain sa mga Romano. Kung titignan mo, ito yung Italy dati, yan, ito yung buong Italy dati, ganito lang kaliit yung Rome. And then, biglang lumaki nung nalabanan nila yung Carthage. And then, bigla naman lumaki. As you can see, this is Spain. Spain to. So, Spain was also under Britain. Spain was also, sorry, ang ingay ng mga dumadaan. Alright. Spain was also under Rome. Diba? And lumaki palalo yung Rome. Nakita mo. Spain, France, and to I wanna highlight, sorry, baguhin ko nga yung yung kulay ng aking marker. But let me just erase it. Dude, over there. Alright. Let's go back to the topic. Spain is under Rome. France is under Rome. But I wanna highlight Greece. Okay, nakita niyo ba? Okay ba yung highlighter ko? Gamit nga ako ng purple. Once again, Spain, and Spain, itong lugar na to. France, ito naman tong lugar na to. And we have Greece. Greece was also colonized by Rome. So napakalaki talaga ng Rome. Pero bakit ko gusto i-highlight yung Greece? Who are the Greeks? By the way, ang tawag sa mga tao ng Greece ay Greeks. So who were the Greeks or who are the Greeks? Kasi hanggang ngayon naman meron pa namang mga Greeks. Well, let's just say na sobrang influential din ng mga Greeks. Ang dami natin natutunan sa mga Greeks in terms of our democracy, kalayaang bumoto, kalayaang magsalita, our justice system, of course, also influenced by the Greeks, philosophy, also influenced by the Greeks. And ang dami natin natutunan sa Greeks in general. So ikaw bilang English major, no? Bilang English major, kilala mo naman dapat sila Zeus, sila Poseidon, yung mga Olympian gods. Galing yun sa Greek. And nung sinakop ito ng Rome, when Rome colonized Greece, they were so amazed sa kultura ng Greece. Like, na-amaze talaga sila na, wow, grabe yung culture nila, yung arts nila. Kung meron silang mga Olympian gods, dapat meron din tayong mga Roman gods. So, itong mga Olympian gods, sila Zeus, sila Poseidon, sila Athena, sila yung mga naging model ng mga Roman gods na sila Mars, sila Jupiter. Ayan. Yan yung mga Roman gods. And let's just say ganito, the Romans were very influenced by the Greeks. Even though sinakop ng Rome yung Greece, grabe, sobrang na-amaze yung mga Romans sa mga Greeks. But what I wanna highlight is yung language nila. Ang language ng mga Romans is Latin. Latin. And ang language naman ng mga Greek is obviously Greek. So, nung sinakop ng Rome yung Greece, of course, they were already speaking Latin. Nung sinakop nila yung Greece, dahil na-amaze nga sila sa mga Greeks, nagustuhan nila yung Greek language. So, Latin and Greek, yan, Latin plus Greek, yan, nag-combine yung dalawang yan. Okay? And kung titignan mo naman kasi yung letters ng Latin and yung letters ng Greek, may kita mo na mukha na siyang alphabet ng modern society natin, di ba? It looks like the alphabets of our modern society. In fact, these are the alphabets. Latin alphabets. Kaya pag tinanong, ano yung alphabets na ginagamit natin, no? We're using Latin alphabets. So why is this relevant? Nung sinakop ng Rome ang Britain, ayan, di ba? Sabi ko nga kanina, nasakop niya yung Spain, nasakop niya yung France, and eventually, umabot na rin siya ng Britain. Nung umabot na yung Rome sa Britain, obviously, ang language is nag-mix na. Ano yung unang language ulit ng Britain or ng UK? It's Celts, di ba? Oh, for your uh, memory, di ba? Celtic yung unang language nila or Common Brittonic. Pero dumating naman yung mga Romano. Nung dumating yung mga Romano, nadagdagan na ng Latin and ng Greek. So, Common Brittonic, also known as Proto-Brittonic, and Latin with Greek influences, they coexisted. So, I want to emphasize they coexisted. Usually kasi class, pag nananakop ang isang bansa, pipilitin nila yung language nila. For example, pag sinakop tayo ng, halimbawa lang nung sinakop tayo ng Amerika, of course, pinilit nilang ituro sa atin yung English. But at the same time, hinayaan pa rin naman nila tayong magsalita in Filipino, in Tagalog, sorry. Wala pang Filipino nun. Hinayaan naman nila tayong magsalita in Tagalog. So, ganun din ginawa ng mga Romans sa mga British people back then. They, they spoke in Common Brittonic and at the same time, they spoke in Latin with Greek influences. So, guess nyo na. So, in our history sa UK, their first language is Common Brittonic and then nadagdagan ng Latin and ng Greek. Now, I want to introduce the Anglo-Saxons or the Germanic tribes. Dito na magiging English ang English. Noong gumuho yung Rome, bago gumuho yung Rome, umalis na yung Rome sa Britain due to internal conflicts. Umalis yung Rome kasi ang gulo ng Rome. Masyadong malaki yung Roman Empire. No? Balik tayo. Masyadong malaki yung Roman Empire. So, ang hirap nito bantayan. Kaya, pag may gera, ang hirap i-mobilize sa mga troops. Pag may gusto kang ipadalang message mula from Britain papunta ng Italy, ang hirap. Ang laki ng Rome. And because of that, yung politics din nila nagkakagulo-gulo. So dahil dyan, umalis yung Rome sa Britain. However, nung pag-alis ng Rome, may pumalit. Ang pumalit naman is yung mga Anglo-Saxons. So saan galing yung Anglo-Saxons? Galing sila sa Germanic groups. Ano yung mga Germanic groups na yun? So pakisulat to. This is very important. We have the Jutes, we have the Angles, we have the Saxons, we have the Frisians, and we have the Franks. Etong mga grupong to, hindi sila mga hindi sila mga they don't speak German. Yun na lang. They don't speak German. Magkaiba yung modern German sa Germanic. Okay? But let's just say, itong mga grupong to, they have their own versions of German. They have their own versions of German. So yung mga Jutes, meron silang sariling version ng German language. Itong mga Angles, they have their own version of German language. Saxons, Frisians, and Franks, they all have their own version of the Germanic language. So, nung pinuntahan nila yung British Islands, well, obviously, the British people were also influenced by Germanic. Dito na papasok yung Old English. Various Germanic groups collectively called the Anglo-Saxons began arriving. They brought their own dialects, which developed into Old English. And ba't magkahiwalay ito? And gradually replaced much of the Celtic-speaking population in eastern and southern Britain. Pushed Celtic languages westward. So in short class, di ba, nandito yung mga Celtics na language. Sorry. Nandito, again. Alright. Kalat yung Celtic language and kalat na rin yung Latin and yung Greek. But nung dumating yung mga Anglo-Saxons, natulak yung Celtics papunta sa West. That is why yung mga Scottish, yung mga Irish at saka yung mga Welsh people, meron pa rin silang Celtic language hanggang ngayon. Whereas itong England, itong part na to, England is nagkaroon na ng Anglo-Saxon influence. So, ano na? Madami na tayo. Meron na tayong Celtic, meron na tayong Latin, meron na tayong Greek, and meron na tayong Anglo-Saxon English. Kapag kinambine mo yun together, we will have what we call Old English. Okay? Now, let's proceed. Germanic versus Germany. Na-discuss ko na to kanina. So, when we say Germany, itong bansang to, Germany to. Yan yung bansang Germany. Pero pag sinabi nating Germanic, we have Iceland, we have Norwegian, we have Swedish, we have Low German, we have High German. So, bakit natin sila sinasabing Germanic? Class, I want to introduce a new term. Family. I really have to invest in a good, decent mic. So, pag sinabi nating family of languages, ibig sabihin, pamilya. Di ba ang pamilya magkakadugo? So, in terms sa grammar, yan, in terms sa grammar, madali siyang aralin pag inaral mo na yung isa. Kasi pag nag-aral ka ng German, madali nang aralin yung grammar ng Norwegian, ng Swedish. Okay? Ganun na yun. And then we also have pronunciation. Hindi ko na itatype ha. Hindi ko na isusulat rather. Alam niyo na yan. So, in terms of pronunciation, magkakatunog yung mga languages na yan. Baka nga hindi mo siya ma-distinguish pag nagsalita-salita sila. And in terms of vocabulary, yan. In terms of vocabulary, and, yan, hindi ko na isusulat masyado. In terms of vocabulary, magkakatulad lang din sila. Though magkakaiba pa rin kahit papaano kasi nga language siya. Magkaiba yung language ng Norwegian sa German, sa Swedish. Pero kung titignan mo siya to a linguistic level, magkakamuka. Dahil nga, galing sila sa isang pamilya, which is the Germanic family. Okay? Now, again, nung pumunta yung Anglo-Saxons and yung mga Jutes dito sa England, itong England ay nahaluan na ng Anglo-Saxon na language, which is the Old English. So, yan, no? Ito na yung Old English. They influenced England. And look at the word Angles. Angles rather. Hindi ba parang similar siya sa sound na English? That's because ang word na English ay manggagaling nga siya sa Angles. Angleterre, o yun. Angleterre, yun yung tawag ng mga French sa ano eh, UK. Angleterre, o yun. So, yan. Alam niyo na kung saan galing ngayon yung word na English. It came from Angles. Kasi nga, English is a Germanic language. Let's proceed. Ganito yung tsura ng Old English. Are you familiar with Beowulf? Okay, so since nag-take ka naman ng English major, no? Beowulf, ito yung pinakasikat na epic poem. Basta pag sinabing Old English, ang literature na best associated with that is Beowulf. So, ang story ng Beowulf is that this is the hero Beowulf. Nilabanan niya yung tatlong kalaban, which is si Grendel and yung nanay ni Grendel and yung dragon. And yun lang naman. Basically, it's a story about strength, courage, honor, paano maging warrior, paano maging brave. Ayun, yun. But ang highlight nito, class, is look, this is Old English. Nakikita nyo na ba, nagmumukha na siyang English. Though, hindi mo pa rin siya maintindihan, but still, nagmumukha na siyang English. In terms sa alphabet, writing, mukha na siyang English. Pero hindi mo pa rin maintindihan yan. Ako, hindi ko maintindihan yan. Now, Old English is the earliest form of the English language. Spoken in Britain from about 450 to 1100 CE, brought by the Anglo-Saxons after the Roman withdrawal. It is a Germanic language but it is very different from modern English. Kasi mas complex yung grammar and vocabulary nila and mas malapit siya sa German. Okay? So, kaya nga, kanina ko pa sinasabi, iba yung Germanic language sa German. And just because we're saying that English is a Germanic language does not mean na it is German. Magkaiba yun. Okay? So once again, Old English is the earliest form of the English language spoken in Britain from about 450 to 1100 CE, brought by the Anglo-Saxons. So I hope you're taking notes. Mahalaga itong mga sinasabi ko. It came from the Anglo-Saxons. Now, do you remember the Roman Empire? Di ba ganito kalaki yung Roman Empire? And I said kanina na meron siyang mga internal problems. Well, eventually, because of that, lalala ng lalala, hanggang sa guguho na yung Roman Empire. Nung gumuho yung Roman Empire, ano nga ulit yung language ng Rome? Di ba ang language ng Rome is Latin. Latin na nahaluan ng Greek. But majorly, obviously, is going to be Latin. So, when Rome fell, naiwan yung Latin sa mga bansang to. Naiwan siya sa France, naiwan yung Latin sa France, naiwan yung Latin sa Portugal and sa Spain, and naiwan yung Latin sa Italy, and naiwan din yung Latin sa Romania. But eventually, in the future, itong mga language na to will evolve into what we call French. Yan, French. French came from Latin. Okay? Spanish came from Latin. Spanish. Spanish. Portuguese also came from Latin. Italian also came from Latin. So dahil itong mga language na sinabi ko ay Romanian also came from Latin. Kasi nga itong mga lugar na to ay sinakop ng Roman Empire. So dahil nga all of them speaks Latin, obviously itong mga languages na to, they are very similar. So once again, I would like to introduce another family. Kung kanina, we have the Germanic family, now I want to introduce the Latin family, otherwise known as Romance languages. Mamaya, sasabihin ko ano yan. Pero, gusto ko rin i-highlight kung gaano ka-influential yung Latin. Kasi itong mga bansang sinabi ko, itong Spain, itong France, itong Spain, France, Italy, magiging mga mananakop yan in the future. Alam nyo naman, di ba, sinakop tayo ng Spain. Di ba? Sinakop tayo ng Spain. So look, ganito po kalaki yung Spanish Empire. Ganito kalaki yung Spanish Empire. So this is Spain. Spain speaks Spanish, obviously. Spain speaks Spanish. Spanish came from Latin. So, Spain colonized a huge portion of the Americas. Nasakop niya yung Mexico, ayan no. Kaya nga yung Mexico, they speak Spanish. Nasakop niya yung Argentina, nasakop niya yung Argentina, nasakop niya rin yung Chile, nasakop niya yung El Salvador, nasakop niya yung Texas, which is a huge part of the United States. And then eventually, minalas din tayo, umabot pa siya ng Philippines. We were also colonized by Spain. Ganito po kalaki yung Spanish Empire. So, would you agree with me na dahil kumakalat ang Spanish Empire, kumakalat na rin yung Latin? Kumakalat yung Spanish, kumakalat din yung Latin. Take note of that. Kumakalat yung Spanish Empire, kumakalat din yung Latin. Ito naman yung French. 'Di ba? As I said kanina, French, the language of French came also from Latin. So, uh, once again, class, pagbigyan nyo na ako ang pangit ng ano ko, hindi ako makapagsulat na maayos. I will invest in a good mouse para naman madrawing ko or masulat ko yung mga kailangan ko isulat. But anyway, French came from Latin. And ganda po kalaki yung French Empire. Nasakop niya yung Canada, specifically Quebec. That's why sa Quebec in Canada, dalawa yung languages in Canada, English and French. And nasakop niya rin yung some parts of the United States and a huge part of Africa. Nasakop niya. Nasakop din ng French yung other parts of the Americas. Nasakop niya yung Madagascar. Nasakop niya yung, oh my God, I forgot kung anong bansa to. Is this Vietnam? Okay. Paki-fact check na lang ako. I think this is Vietnam. I may be wrong, okay? I forgot. But let's just say na France colonized the Americas, Africa, and umabot din yung influence niya hanggang Asia. So once again, would you agree with me na because French came from Latin, kumalat na rin yung Latin mula nung sinakop ng France yung mga bansang sinabi ko. So bakit ko ito sinasabi? Punta naman tayo sa Portugal. Ito yung Portugal. Sinakop ng Portugal ang Brazil and some parts of Africa as well. But ang point ko dito, Portuguese also came from Latin. So would you agree with me na dahil sinakop ito ng Portugal, kumalat na rin yung Latin sa mga bansang to? Bakit ko to sinasabi, class? Bakit ko to sinasabi? Because hanggang ngayon sa ating mga jargons or professional language such as medicine and law, we are using Latin a lot. And we're also using a lot of Greek words. Kasi nga, di ba? Latin is also influenced by Greek. That is why, class, hanggang ngayon, yung mga medical terms natin, Latin. Yung mga law term natin, Latin. Nudus pactis, set tradition, dominia tenerum transferentur, secuteritur alianum nolidas, salus populis suprema lex, nullum crimen, nullum puena sinilegi. Mataw, di ba mga Latin terms yun? By the way, no, hindi naman ako fluent in Latin. I'm learning Latin and I'm also learning French. But inaaral ko yung French for fun. Yung Latin, kaya ako siya inaaral because I'm a law student. Kaya ngayon pa lang sinasabi ko na sa'yo, sa buong mundo, so long as pinag-aaralan ng batas, ginagamit ng Latin. Kasi nga, kumalat yung Latin. Sinakop kasi tayo ng mga bansang Spain, ng France, and ng Portugal, and all of them spoke Latin, kaya kumalat yung Latin. And kumalat na rin yung language nila. Okay? Kaya the dominant language dati is not English. The dominant language back then was Latin. Kung hindi ka marunong mag-French, mag-usap tayo in Latin. Hindi ka marunong mag-Spanish, usap tayo in Latin. Kung hindi ka marunong mag-ganto, usap tayo in Latin. 'Di ba? Kaya nga si Jose Rizal, marunong siya ng Latin. It's one of the earliest languages na natutunan ni Rizal. He learned Tagalog, he learned Spanish, and then he was also taught Latin. Latin yung ginagamit ni Rizal pag nakikipag-usap siya sa mga foreigners and hindi sila nagkakaintindihan. So, Latin na lang din. Now, kanina ko pa sinasabi yung family of languages, di ba? So, alam niyo naman, kanina we have the Germanic languages And now I want to introduce the Romance languages. Let's use the sentence in English. The king has a good house. In Latin, it's going to be Rex domum bonum habet. In French, it's going to be Le roi a un bon maison. Sorry, I'm still working on my pronunciation. Le roi a un bon maison. Bon maison. Bon maison. Le roi a un bon maison. Oh my god, I butchered that pronunciation. I'm so sorry sa mga French people, but I'm still learning your language, so please be kind to me. And then we have the Spanish. El rey tiene una buena casa. In Italian, I don't know how to pronounce this and I won't attempt. But what I want to highlight, class, is yung similarities nila. Let's look at the similarities. Bakit natin masasabi na family of language to? Kasi nga, French, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian, they all came from Latin. So, tignan mo yung itsura ng lingwahe nila. We have the word good, magkakamuka. Lahat sila nagsisimula sa letter B. In terms naman sa house, although yung French na iba, maison, in Spanish, naging casa. Magkakamukha, di ba? Casa yung Spanish, in Italian, casa, in Portuguese, casa as well. Di ba? In terms naman sa the, yung kanilang article na the, in French, it's le. Le, hindi le. Le. In Spanish naman, binaliktad, ginawang L. O, di ba? Magkakamukha sila, class. Kasi nga, as I said, they all came from the language of Latin. Ayan o, look. Ayan o. Pero class, ang pinaka gusto kong highlight is yung Latin and yung French. It will all make sense kung bakit ko to sinasabi. Una, Latin influenced UK. Alam nyo na yan, kasi nga dumating yung mga Romano. Eh yung mga French, paano kaya nila naapektuhan ng UK? Let's discuss later on. So basta tandaan nyo, itong mga language na to ay galing sa Latin. Now, tingnan mo naman, although galing yung French sa Latin, obviously magkaiba na sila. That's why magkaibang lengguwahe na yan. Kasi yung French, iba na yung grammar niya sa Latin, iba na rin yung vocabulary niya sa Latin. Although medyo magkaiba na. Kaya magkahiwalay na yung Latin at French in terms sa language. Okay? So, we're done now with the Anglo-Saxons. Punta naman tayo sa bagong problema. Ang bagong problema naman is ito. We have what we call the Norman Conquest. I hope nagtitake notes ka. So, ayan, we have the Norman Conquest. So, ito yung mga Normans. So, what do we mean by Normans? Who were the Normans? I want to introduce naman Middle English. Kanina Old English tayo, di ba? Now we're in the Middle English. So, Middle English is the form of the English language used roughly after the Roman conquest. Mamaya, papaliwanag ko yung Norman. After the Normans took over, the ruling class spoke French. Oh, yun. Pag sinabi nating ruling class, ito yung mga mayayaman. Sila yung mga king, sila yung mga governors, basta sila yung mga matataas. And yung church naman, gumagamit sila ng Latin. By the way, kalat na po dito yung Christianity. Okay? So the church were using Latin and the common people, yung mga normal lang, yung mga may hirap, they spoke in Old English. They still spoke in Old English. But eventually, itong tatlong to, these languages, French, Latin, and Old English, magko-combine yan into what we call the Middle English. So, ano ba yung Normans, no? The Normans, they came from Normandy. Normandy. Galing sila sa Normandy. Ayan, Normandy. O, basta alam niyo na yan, Normandy. Sa mga history fans dyan, alam niyo na yung Normandy, di ba? May kinalaman to about World War II. This is the D-Day landings. So, just a reference. Anyway, galing sila sa Normandy. May isa kasing hari, si King Williams. Sabi ni King Williams, meron siyang right sa trono. Meron siyang right sa trono ng England. Kasi yung nanay niya daw ay yung nanay niya ay royalty sa England. So, inatake ni King William yung England. And let's just say na nanalo si King Williams, naging hari siya. Nung naging hari si King Williams ng England, dinala na rin niya yung French. So basically, may French na ngayon yung England. So ano na yung mga language natin? We have Celtic, we have Latin, we have Greek, we also have Old English dahil sa mga galing sa mga Anglo-Saxons, and now we have French. Okay, tandaan niyo we have French. And then biglang nagkaroon ng Hundred Years War. What's the Hundred Years War? Well, nung nanalo kasi si King Williams bilang King of England, let's just say na after him, hindi pa rin maganda yung relationship ng England and ng France. And because of that, naggera yung England at yung France. And dahil naggera yung England and France for how many years? 100 years. Of course, naghalo yung French at saka yung English lalo. The Hundred Years' War was a long series of wars between England and France, no? Over who should rule France. Okay? Mainly triggered by the claim of Edward III to the French throne. Ayan. So, ito si Edward III naman, katulad ni Williams, meron daw siyang claim sa French throne kasi nga, family relationships, blah, blah, blah. And, ayan, basically, dahil dito, itong mga French, di ba sabi ko nga, nung panahon ni King Williams, French is the language used by the upper class, nobility, the law, the government. But dahil nagkaaway ngayon yung England at saka yung France, itong mga English people, they said, ayoko na pag-aralan yung French. Huwag na natin gamitin yung French. Let's use English instead. Huwag na natin gamitin yung French. Bakit natin gagamitin yung French? Kalaban nga natin sila. Let's just use English instead. So because of that, itong French, mas naging less desirable siya. And of course, yung Middle English, mas nag-improve. So, how did French and Latin influence English? Kanina ko pa sinasabi. After the Norman conquest, French became the language of the ruling class in England, while Latin remained the language of the church and scholarship, leading to a major transformation of English. As a result, English absorbed thousands of French and Latin words, especially in law, government, religion, and education, such as court, justice, and nation. Now, these influences also introduced common word endings like Sean, Sion, and Tik. For example, no, isip kayo ng mga words na nag-end dito, it's going to be either Latin or French. For example, communication, mission, enumeration, socialization. Itong mga words na to ay galing sa French or Latin. Ganun na influence. And there are thousands of words na galing there are thousands of English words na you can end with Sean and Sion. Mission, vision, communication, enumeration, socialization, communication, what else? Enumeration, vocalization, ito. Those words, habitation, they came from French or Latin. Ano naman tong tick? Can you think of words na nag-end sa tick? For example, mathematic, romantic, problematic. Galing yan sa mga French words na romantic, problematic. O yun. Ganun ka-influential yung French sa atin. Now, I want to introduce the British Empire and paano kumalat yung English. Kung kanina napakita ko sa inyo kung gaano kalaki yung French at yung Spanish at Portuguese Empire, I want to introduce kung gaano kalaki yung British Empire. But first, you have to understand the War of the Roses. So we're done. We're done na. Natalo yung England sa 100 Years War. Kaya yung France, naging France na siya. And yung England, nagstay na yung mga people sa England. Biglang nagkaroon ng War of the Roses. By the way, no, this will inspire Game of Thrones. So kung mahilig kayo sa Dracarys, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, then I want you to know na it was inspired by the War of the Roses. Let's just say na mas lalong tumibay yung English dito. Because after the War of the Roses, nagkaroon ng mas matibay na monarchy and mas tumibay lalo yung English. So in short, nag-unite na yung English. So if we're gonna look at the history na sinimulan natin kanina pa, English started from the Celtic language, and of course, Celtic came from Proto-Indo-European. Alam niyo na yan? P-I-E-U. Proto-Indo-European. And then, nahaluan to ng Latin kasi dumating yung mga Romans. And then, dumating yung mga Anglo-Saxons and eventually, nag-mix na to. We will have what we call the Old English, the beginning of Old English. Dumating naman yung mga Normans. Okay, nung dumating yung mga Normans, they brought in the Norman French and then we will have Middle English. And then, in the future, Middle English will transverse into Modern English, which is American, Canadian, Australian, British, Irish, Scottish, Indian English. Now, class, this is not a historical lesson na kailangan intindihin nyo sobrang lalim. Because meron naman tayong tinatawag na historical linguistics. Ang kadalasan na lumalabas sa mga board exam, in fact, hindi ito lumalabas sa board exam. So, I doubt na this topic will be very, very useful. But kaya ako to tinuturo because ayoko sa lahat na tinatawag mo sarili mo na you're an English major pero hindi mo alam kung at least yung bare minimum explanation kung saan galing yung English. 'Di ba? Pwede ba yun? Ano ka, law student ka pero hindi mo alam saan galing yung batas? Pwede ba yun? Ano, you're a med student pero hindi mo alam kung paano nakakagawa ng meds, what makes a medicine healthy, whatever. Of course, if you're going to teach English and you will call yourself an English major, you must know kung saan galing yung English. Katulad na rin if you're a Filipino major, kailangan alam mo kung paano nagawa yung Filipino language. How is Filipino different from Tagalog? Di ba? So, now, at least may general idea ka na kung saan galing yung English language. Now, I want to introduce to you the British Empire. Di ba, ito yung United Kingdom, ito yung British, or yan, Britain. Ganito po kalaki yung British Empire. Nasakop ng Britain yung Canada, the whole parts of Canada. Nasakop ng Britain yung India. Nasakop ng Britain yung entirety of Australia. Australia is one whole continent. Nasakop din ng Britain's yung islands in Asia, such as the Solomon Islands, and we also have New Zealand. Nasakop din ng Britain ang Egypt, Sudan, and Palestine. Nasakop din ng Britain itong parts of the Americas. So in short class, napakalaki ng British Empire. Nasakop din ng Britain ang Nigeria. So ang sakop ng Britain is halos buong mundo. Or I would argue, buong mundo ang nasakop ng Britain. Why? Sobrang laki ng Britain. Ang lakas ng Britain. Okay? Compared sa French Empire, sa Spanish Empire, which is palagi nakakalaban ng British Empire by the way, ganyan kalaki yung British Empire. So no wonder na kung kumalat yung Latin and yung French and Spanish, kumalat din yung English in general. Okay? But I want to highlight is yung 13 colonies. Sorry, narinig nyo ba yung ambulansya? I apologize kung naiingayan kayo, no? Okay, let's take our time. What I want to highlight, class, is the United States of America. So, burayin natin to. As you can see, itong Britain, umabot siya dito sa tinatawag nating 13 colonies. The 13 colonies is basically the United States of America. So, ganito lang kaliit yung nasakop ng Britain dati. Hindi yung buong Amerika. Okay? So, itong part na to. So, biglang nagkaroon naman ng American Revolution. So, dahil dumating yung American Revolution, naging independent yung Amerika. Naging independent yung Amerika and eventually they would call themselves the United States of America. And alam naman natin, no, kung gaano ka-influential yung United States of America. Noong sinakop ng Britain yung Amerika, which is itong mga parts na to, South Carolina, Georgia, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, itong New York, ito lang yung nasakop ng UK. But nung naging malaya na yung USA, eventually, ang ginawa nila is sinakop ng USA papunta sa direction na to hanggang sa naging ganito na kalaki yung US. Naging 50 states na siya. And we all know naman kung gaano ka-influential ang Amerika until today. The United States of America influences us in economics, politics, in terms of military power. Alam niyo na. And if you know your history, sinakop tayo ng Amerika. Diba? Namatay nga si General Luna, kakalaban sa mga, pinatay si General Luna. Pero nilabanan ni General Luna at ni Gregorio del Pilar ang mga Amerikano. But in short, nasakop tayo ng Amerika. This is the reason why ang standard of English natin is American English, not British English. So, as an English major class, as an English major, our main standard of English dito sa Pilipinas is American English. So now you know kung saan galing ang English. For our next topic, it's going to be language versus dialect. I hope madami kayo natutunan. If you have questions, mag-comment lang kayo. I will answer them. And thank you very much. So looking forward for our next topic. Bye for now.